Hello.
Hi.
I'm going to pause.
Still says, oh, there it goes. Once you start, I can monitor the waiting room as well, so you don't need to worry about the ding.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think we're good to let people in. Good evening, everybody. For those that can hear me, thank you for coming. We're just going to wait a minute or so while everybody gets on. Good to see some children's faces.
Hi there.
Welcome, everyone. Looks like there's just a couple more people that are joining. Hello.
Hello.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and get started. If I could have everyone mute themselves for now, I would appreciate it. It's good to see some faces that I recognize. So for this evening, I'm going to do the presentation and we'll go through it. As things are talked about, if you have questions, please feel free to write your questions in the chat. I'm going to let Spanish interpretation share that, and then we'll have Arabic after that.
Esta noche vamos a hacer, vamos a tener el meeting y si ustedes tienen cualquier pregunta, por favor usen donde dice chat y ahí escriban sus preguntas y nosotros les vamos a contestar.
And Arabic?
مرحبا أهلا وسهلا بكم في مدرسة هيزلوود. الترجمة الفورية متاحة. يرجى النقر على أيقونة الترجمة الفورية واختيار لغتك اللغة العربية. وإذا يوجد لديك أي سؤال يرجى كتابة السؤال في خانة الأسئلة وشكرا.
Thank you. At the end, if you have questions that you want to unmute and you want to ask a question, there will be time at the end so that you can do that. And we will have a process so that we do it in an orderly manner.
Al final del meeting va a haber tiempo para que ustedes puedan también sacar el silenciador de sus computadoras y hacer las preguntas en vivo y vamos a tener un proceso para hacer preguntas y respuestas de manera ordenada.
إذا لديك أي سؤال أو إذا لديكم أي أسئلة تودون الاستفسار عنها أو السؤال في آخر هذا الاجتماع سيكون هناك وقت محدد لكتابة أسئلتكم وسنحاول الإجابة عنها.
Thank you. So at this time, what we have found was with bandwidth, sometimes it's easier if people have their screens off so that we can hear each other. So if you could help us with that, we'd appreciate it because we have a large group this evening. And I have several people joining this evening to help.
Cuando tenemos un meeting con tanta gente, por lo general, para que todos nos podamos escuchar y no al mismo tiempo, es importante que ustedes tengan el silenciador puesto, pero también si pueden sacar la cámara, así la conversación se hace mejor si no hay visuales.
في هذا الوقت نفضل أن تطفئ زر الكاميرا لأن لدينا عدد كبير من الحضور. وشكرا.
Thank you. So several people this evening. We have Sarah Hedges, kindergarten teacher, who is assisting.
Tenemos aquí
Go ahead.
Aquí tenemos varias maestras. Sarah Hedges es la maestra de Jardín de Infantes.
توجد معنا المدرسة سارة هيدجز وهي مدرسة للمرحلة الابتدائية الكندرغاردن.
And we have our office manager, Mrs. Berry, here to help us.
Y nuestra asistente de la oficina, que es Jacqueline Berry.
And we have two interpreters, Susanna, who will be doing Spanish, and Iman, who will be doing Arabic.
Y tenemos dos intérpretes, Susana, que soy yo, que voy a hacer la interpretación en español, y Iman, que hace la interpretación en árabe.
توجد لدينا الأخت سوزانا لترجمة إلى اللغة الإسبانية وأنا إيمان ترجمة للغة العربية.
And this evening, interpretation will be going on at the same time that I'm speaking in separate rooms, and I will let them explain how you can, if you need Spanish or Arabic, how you can get this interpretation. So let's begin with Spanish.
Esta noche vamos a tener interpretación simultánea. Entonces, lo que va a pasar es que me van a asignar a mí, que soy la que hago la interpretación de español, a un canal diferente. Y ustedes, cuando eso pase, al final, abajo de la pantalla, va a ver como el dibujito de un globo que dice interpretación. Ustedes tienen que ir a ese globo, hacer clic donde dice interpretación y seleccionar el lenguaje de español. Entonces van a ser automáticamente pasados a la otra sala donde estoy yo, que simultáneamente voy a estar traduciendo lo que diga Normally.
Okay, thank you. Arabic?
سوف توجد لدينا غرفتان، واحدة للغة الإسبانية وواحدة للغة العربية. إذا أردت باللغة العربية رجاء اتبعوا الخطوات التي سوف نتحدث فيها الآن.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to start the interpretation. So please select the language if you would like, and we'll start the simultaneous interpretation now.
Ahora vamos a empezar la interpretación, así que por favor seleccionen el lenguaje que quieren hablar, que es español, como les explico.
هناك زر أسفل الشاشة على الجهة اليمين يمكنك الضغط عليه واختيار اللغة العربية إذا أردت أن تسمع المحادثة باللغة العربية.
Susanna and Iman, I have it on. Are you now going to be in a separate room? Can you choose? Is there something for you to choose? Okay. And Sarah, can you please share the slides? Okay. I'm hoping that it's all working now. I've pushed all the buttons. And I'm hoping that it's working. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Go to the next slide, please. I'm Mrs. Lee. I'm the principal of Hazelwood. If I've not met you yet, I want to welcome you. We have gone through. Pardon me? Iman, are you?
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
I'm in a different room or still the same main room?
You need to be in the room. There should be an Arabic room.
Yeah. My laptop, there is only English and Spanish. I can't see any Arabic.
Huh. I see it here on my end, so I'm not quite sure what to do. Sarah, do you have ideas? Because I want to keep this going.
I've never had an interpreter, so I'm not sure how to help her get where she needs to go.
Okay. The things I have only two options: English or Spanish, or off.
Hi, Iman. Maybe you should log off and then try to log back in. Maybe as we refresh and you see 3 options instead of 2.
Okay.
So Iman, I'm gonna have you try that.
Okay.
And then let's see if that works. And I'm going to continue. I apologize to those who need Arabic interpretation. I'm going to keep going. So let's move to the next slide, please. Sarah? Yeah, thank you. So tonight we will have a recording of the meeting, so you can access it for those that aren't able to see it. And we will start with the land acknowledgement. You'll find out about school information and what it's going to be like in the day of the life of your student at Hazelwood, and try to leave questions at the end. So with that, when we go to the next slide. There we go. Iman, I see you there. I just want to see if you're doing okay.
Yeah, I'm trying. Sorry.
That's okay.
One more thing.
So we'll acknowledge, we acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place, the Stahobish people, and their successors, the Tuolip tribes, who since time immemorial have taken care of, hunted, fished, and gathered on these lands. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and we honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. By acknowledging these homelands, we commit to working with tribal nations to further the education aims they have identified in our classroom and our schools. I think we might just be a little bit slow. So, welcome this evening. Hazelwood believes in parent partnership, and this is part of that effort. We believe that you are experts on your children, and we want to partner with you as we work to do what we can to help them achieve their own personal success and individual potential. And so we take that very seriously and consider it an honor to work with your children. At Hazelwood, the word for the year is belonging. And we believe that everyone belongs in our community. No matter what language you speak or where you're from, we want you to know that you are a part of the community and that you belong here, and we care about your children. And because of that, then we're a community of learners. And especially this year, because we all belong and we care about our kids, we're going to do everything we can to help them learn and achieve academically. And that's a high priority for us. Next slide. So the first day of school, so everybody knows, is September 8th for grades 1 through 12. During that week between September 7th and the 10th, we have kindergarten connections where the kindergarten families will meet with their teachers. And they will begin their first day on September 13th. The last day of school will be Friday, June 24th. And there below, you can see the schedule for the day. So at 8:50, if your student is eating breakfast at our school, which by the way is free this year, they can be dropped off at 8:50 and go right to the cafeteria to get their breakfast. Any students who are not receiving breakfast or are just waiting before school need to start at 9 o'clock for drop-off. And at 9:10, our classroom doors open. The school day begins at 9:20, and we dismiss at 3:50. And I will give you more details about that, the entry and dismissal process, as we go through the slides. So a typical day for our students. So going right into COVID and preparations that are in place to mitigate any transfer of COVID among our students. We have these practices in place. You can look at the pictures and see that everybody will wear masks, both staff and students. The masks will be covering their nose and their mouth. There will be social distancing practices. That's what the measuring tape is for, both in the classroom and throughout the school. We will have hand washing routines in place at any transfer in and out of a classroom, any transfer between events, there will be hand washing protocols. And then of course, we want our families to be monitoring symptoms and keep your students home if they're feeling sick, so they don't expose anybody else. Okay. So Edmond School District has a health and safety handbook. It's on their website. One of the things I forgot to mention, because it was a little confusing with the translators there at the beginning, but any links that you see in this slideshow, I will be sending out so that you have access to those tomorrow. I will be sending those out so you can go into any links that you see. And one of those is the health and safety handbook. And the link is live and it's updated throughout the year. And so that would be a great link for you to keep track of. There's limited, because of even the most recent increase in numbers, there's limited access inside the school. So during the school year, schools are only going to be open to students and the district staff. Our campuses are closed to non-school individuals. And at this time, that means volunteers and just access throughout the school. However, if there's an urgent need, like you have a sick child or you need to talk to someone, our school office will be open to urgent needs. And I would just request that you don't come to school if you're feeling sick. Okay, it's just slow, Sarah.
Okay. Yeah, I keep clicking. It's just taking a while.
Okay, that's okay. So this is an overview of our parking lot at Hazelwood. And I thought it would be helpful for you to see entry in the morning of how the flow of traffic will go. So you can see the arrow that enters the parking lot closest to the building. We enter that on that entrance point, and you can see across the parking lot the arrow that's pointing out. We exit the parking lot on the out opening. Where the big arrow is to enter, there's where the flagpole is. That's where walkers should be entering the campus. And there will be people there to direct so that students know where to enter when they're coming onto campus. Families will need to stay in their cars when they're dropping their students off. And if you're walking your child to school, it's at that flagpole that you will drop your child off so that they can walk into the building. You can also see the lanes where cars will be driving and that you can drop your students off. So there's the lane that's closest to the sidewalk of Hazelwood. Keep in mind that we have 3 big buses that also use that lane. And so we have to make room for those 3 buses, but also if there's room, cars can drop their students off behind the buses so that they don't have to walk very far. Then you can see the other lanes If your child is exiting from the other lanes, look for the nearest sidewalk. And so the nearest, when you drop your child off, they should walk to this middle median sidewalk, and then they would walk toward the building where you see the crosswalk. There will be someone there helping them cross, and then they can get to the sidewalk to enter the campus. Each grade level will have a designated area that they will wait between 9 and 9:10 for when the classroom doors open. And there will be supervision at each spot. So if your child is in kindergarten, they will go right to the big toy on the playground, and there will be people there to monitor them while they wait. If it's raining, it's covered sidewalk and they can wait under the cover until the doors open. The kindergarten teachers usually come and get the students from that spot. If your child is in 1st or 2nd grade, they will walk to the gym, and we have distanced places for them to wait. And usually there's someone to sing songs with them or talk with them while they're waiting. Teachers are in there and they will wait in the gym. If your child is in 3rd or 4th grade, they will actually enter the main building and walk down the hallway toward the library, and they will be in the main hall and the library waiting for the doors to open. 5th graders and 6th graders wait right outside the office area, and there's supervision for them out there. The reason that we split our students up like this is we do not want 300 students waiting out in front of the school on those sidewalks. And this is a safe way that they can be divided by age and be safe while they're waiting those 10 minutes before entering the classroom. And then you can also see that breakfast begins at 8:50. And if your child wants to eat breakfast, they can walk right into the gym cafeteria. There will be a place for them to eat breakfast. Next slide. In all of this, there will be adults helping to direct your children and direct the traffic. Just in case this happens, if your student is out and they're sick, or if your child needs to quarantine or isolate for COVID symptoms, your students will receive assignments to complete at home. And the district does have a website that gives you more information about the attendance policy. And if the Department of Health were to ask us to have an entire classroom or our entire school quarantine, then we will go into remote learning for that period of time that we have to do that. And let's just cross our fingers that that does not happen, but we need to have a plan in place in case it does. Okay. Daily health checks. At this time, we are not doing attestation forms like we did in the spring. So parents will not have to fill out that daily form. Instead, we're asking that families do a check themselves for their students who have COVID symptoms before arriving to school. Staff also will be doing the same health check for themselves. And if those symptoms if they have symptoms, we're asking that they do not come to school. And there's a list of these symptoms that's next. So these are the symptoms to be looking for. And you will have a link to this presentation tomorrow. So you do not have to write all of this down or memorize it. You're looking for a fever greater than 100.4, a cough. If your child has asthma and has allergies, it would be a change in that cough from what the baseline is. Shortness of breath, chills, unusual fatigue, muscles and body aches, and there's more. A new onset of a headache, sore throat, a sudden loss of taste or smell, nausea or vomiting or diarrhea. So if you could watch for those symptoms The staff will also be trained to watch for those symptoms as well. And if a symptom is detected, staff will be sending the student to the office, and we will be in contact with you so that we can figure out the best next steps for your child. Vaccines are required for all of our staff, vaccines are also available to anyone 12 years and older. And you can go to the Sonoma Health District's website for more information on that. On August 18th, the governor did require or mandate that all educators be vaccinated in Washington State. And so that we're going through that process to make that happen. We also have testing available for our students. So if we need to, on demand at school, do some testing, we can do that, as well as the mask wearing. Testing and the hand washing, the testing is another mitigation strategy. And every school in our district has that ability to do the testing. Here's some pictures for you, so you can see what it's like at Hazelwood. If you walk around our campus, you can see arrows and hallway dividers. We have specific ways that our students and our staff walk from one point to another to ensure that they do not cross over and to maintain our social distancing. You can see that it is distanced in the classroom. That is a picture from Kindergarten Jumpstart. And that if students are sitting at a table, that they're staggered so they're not directly across from each other. And all of these, go ahead and go to the next slide. All of these are in accordance with the Snohomish County Department of Health. Also, all of our students will be taking their Chromebooks home each day. And this is in case we have to quarantine or something happens, they need to be able to access remote learning from home. So every day they'll take their Chromebook home and back to school. Okay. So cleaning and disinfecting at our school has specific protocols that the custodians have in place. There are common touch points that are cleaned daily. There's a whole protocol that's in place for manipulatives or shared materials that kids have. Our library books have to be quarantined for 24 hours. We have several different protocols in place to ensure that everything is disinfected and cleaned, as well as our ventilation system and our HVAC system has been revamped so that there are filters cleaned more often, that we have adequate ventilation and fans in all the bathrooms where the bathrooms don't have doors or windows to open. We have extra ventilation and fans that have been installed this summer. And the district is working with an engineering firm that is continuing to monitor the practices and to make sure that our air quality is safe for our students as they're learning. I'm just going to say, I see this question about the Chromebooks, and I'm just going to interrupt real fast and say that grades 1 and 5 will be getting new Chromebooks. Those Chromebooks will be exchanged at school the first week of school. So your child will bring home their new Chromebook during that first week of school. Those Chromebooks that are collected in the exchange will then be distributed to our kindergarten students. And our kindergarten students will get their Chromebooks the first week that they attend. I'm going to go back now to the slideshow. And hand hygiene, students and staff are required to sanitize their hands. I did speak about that earlier. any transition, any change in classroom. Students will be washing their hands. We have hand sanitizers in each place. In the school, there's hand sanitizer on the playground, and we just have our regular hand washing protocols in place. Okay, next one. Let's talk about lunch and breakfast. There you can see how we're doing things. Just for your information, both meals are free. Breakfast begins at 8:50. We are using socially distant practices for that and the staggered seating. Students will be seated by class, and we call that cohorts, so that we can use that for contact tracing. Students will also be playing on the playground with their classes in cohorts, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too. And there are protocols in place between groups for disinfecting. And you can see the link there for the menus. While Sarah is changing the slide, I want to mention that if your family needs financial support or any extra help, we do have forms that can be filled out in the office. They're called free and reduced meal application forms. And meals are free this year, but when we fill out those forms, it could give you extra help or support as well. And so you can reach out to our office for one of those forms. Here is a picture of our playground. Our playground will be divided into zones. This, because we haven't fully come up with our zones for this year, I decided to put a picture in from last year of what our zones are. Our zones will only be 4 zones on the playground this year because we need them to be bigger since we have quite a few students returning. So the zones will include part of the playground, but also the field, and it'll be a bigger space for kids to play. Students will transfer through those zones each day so that if they want to play in a particular part of the playground, they'll have an opportunity to circulate through throughout the week so they each get a chance to play on different parts of the playground. Last year, we didn't allow games like soccer or basketball, but this year we will. And there will also be a socially distanced gaga ball pit so that kids can play those games. This is our dismissal process, same parking lot. And you can see that it's the same entry into the parking lot, the same exit to the parking lot. And you can see that it's the same lanes. The difference is that we will be dismissing starting at 3:50 in a staggered manner. So we will start with our walkers first. They will exit the campus. And then we will be dismissing our students who ride the buses. And then we will be dismissing our students who ride in cars. And you can see where your child will be dismissed to, where the first grade will stand, kindergarten, second, third, and then in that median in the middle, the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders who are being picked up will stand distanced. What you need to know is that if your child has a sibling at school, we would want the students who are older to stand with their younger siblings. So if you have a 4th grader and a 2nd grader, your 4th grader would stand in the 2nd grade area so that you can pick them up all at once. Here's the thing about the parking lot, folks. Our school was built in 1967. And at that time, families walked to school. And the parking lot is small. And so it gets crowded. And we are a team. And we can do this, but we need to be patient with each other, especially in those first weeks of school, because it will be crowded and it will feel a little chaotic until we get everybody trained and everybody knows what they're doing. We will do our job with signage and direction, and I will be out there and we'll be making sure that things go smoothly, but I'm asking for your patience. I'm asking for you to stay in your car. And we will do our best to get your students to you on time so that we can exit quickly. I have to say that we did it in about 6 minutes last spring. We got our entire parking lot done. We can do this. We just have to go through the process. Mrs. Berry, can you speak a little bit about school bus, please?
Hi, everybody. First off, I've had several calls, so I know that a lot of you are wondering if your child is on a bus and what the schedule is. I did hear that cards are going out this week. You should get a postcard that has your child's name, the bus stops, and the bus number on it. You must live more than a mile away to get the bus passing back and forth. If you have questions, you can write down this number and I'll put it in the chat. I'll actually just put it in the chat so that it's there for you. Call transportation if you have any questions. Everything through transportation is taken through the transportation department, but we will facilitate you any way that we can. Okay, Mrs. Lee.
I thought that you were going to talk about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, guys, this is a new thing in the last year or two, and it is so you can access the student bus route information yourself. It also tracks the changes and sends the updates to you. Go to that website, sign on, and I actually think everything comes to you right on your phone. I think there's an app that puts it right on your phone. I'm not familiar with it because I don't have a child that's on it, and but I will answer any questions. Anything that doesn't seem right to you, just give me a call, and I'll call transportation and figure it out for all of us.
And so I have you doing this next slide too, Mrs. Berry.
Okay, Skyward. In the chat, people were asking, when will we find out who our teachers are? And the question is September 1st. And the way that you find this out is on your Skyward account. So you will go to the Edmonds School District website and you will go to Family Skyward Access. You should have a login and a password. If you do not, you can give us a phone call and we will provide you with that. I will send out in an email tomorrow easy directions to show you how to do that. On Skyward, you not only find out who your teacher is, but at semester and the end of the year, you'll get your student grades. You can update all of your family contact information. That includes the emergencies. There is bus information and anything else, you can just call the office for help with that. And Skyward is a really handy tool to have, so make sure that you learn your passwords and logins.
And then just this last slide, Mrs. Berry.
Sorry, muted myself. And if you are a family in need, please, you can either go to this website, you can print out an application for it, you can call the phone number there. And if you have any questions about it, call me and I can help get you headed in the right way. The financial support involves a lot of different things. So if you think that this is you, please don't hesitate to contact and they'll work with you.
Thank you. Okay, and we're getting towards the end and we'll be able to take questions if people have them. So one more slide. Edmonds School District is still hiring. And so we especially need bus drivers and food service workers. I can tell you that we also need paraeducators. So if you are interested, you can go to the website and apply for jobs, and we are still hiring. And so with that, I think what I'm going to do, Sarah, is we're going to unshare so that we can see people. There, thank you. And I wanted to open it up for questions. If you have questions that you would like answered, what I'd like you to do is, if you want to ask something, would you please put the word question in the chat? And then we will call on you that you can unmute yourself and ask questions.
The first question is, if a child takes a bus to school, will they have enough time to eat breakfast? And yes, they will. We have 3 large buses and several smaller buses, and they're all usually there by 9 a.m. So they can run in and they grab their breakfast. Jill, our wonderful breakfast and lunch lady, will be there to assist them.
The next question is from Gina.
If your kiddo already has a Chromebook, can they just keep their Chromebook?
What grade is your child in, Gina? I can't remember. Is it 3rd?
She'll be going into 2nd.
Yeah, she will keep her Chromebook. That is right. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Other questions?
Amber had a question about Right at School. Will they be at the building? Yes, Right at School will be before school and after school every day. So I put the website in there and you can contact them with more questions.
Daniel.
Hi there. This is actually Daniel's dad, Andrew. I think
okay.
Accidentally. In any case, regarding the free breakfast and lunch program, is that a thing you have to pre-sign up for, or is that just they show up and can eat that day? Thank you.
Yeah, they can show up, they can eat that day. It's nothing you have to sign up for. You might want to look at the menu and that will be available to you so that you know that, but we don't need to know ahead of time. Yeah.
There's a question about breakfast and lunch, and can the school manage religious restrictions or vegetarian diets and things like that?
Absolutely. We will have those in place and we can absolutely manage that. We would want a heads up so that we know.
And are PTA or the school providing students with supplies?
We are not providing full supplies to students, but if you have needs, I will put my email in the chat and you can reach out to me and we can try and help whoever needs some extra help.
And the PTA is offering supplies. They have some that were left over from last year. And so we have a way that we can get supplies for you. Just let us know and we'll figure it out.
And I just posted a link to the current supply list in the chat. So if you click on that link, that will take you to supply list for grades K through 6. And Gina has another question.
If your kiddo is on the school bus but wants to do breakfast, are they able to do breakfast?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
The buses are usually there by 9 a.m.
And we'll make sure, Gina, that they have enough time to eat. It won't be a problem. Yeah.
And there was a question about lunches, because last year we did cold sack lunches, if they would be warm this year. My assumption is yes. I looked up the menu today and the menu is posted for September and there are warm options and salad bar options. So it seems like full lunch.
That's correct. Other questions?
Fran has a question.
Hi there. Miss Lee, did you, if I recall correctly, did you say grades 1 through 5th or kindergarten through 5th will have to exchange their Chromebooks, or what about the 6th graders?
Yes, so it's only 1st grade and 5th grade this year that will exchange their Chromebooks. I believe the 5th graders last year, did they get new ones? I think, yes. Mrs. Berry, yeah. Yes, so they got new Chromebooks last year. They will just keep those and carry on with them.
Got it. Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, no problem.
Someone's asking about what time lunch is served.
That will depend on your grade level that you're in, and we're still working out the master schedule. Your teacher will be communicating that with you anywhere between, I think, 11:30 and 1 o'clock, 12:45-ish.
Jackie, someone's asking about classroom placements again. Could you answer that question?
Yeah, so guys, the class placements will be available to everyone on September 1st. That is when the Skyward comes live with teacher placements. Skyward, you will need your login and your sign in. If you don't have that, you can call the school tomorrow and I can help you with your login and sign in. I am going to send out something by email, which is a reminder to people Sometimes you have to reset your password, and I'm the one that has to do that. So thank you.
And I'm sorry if I'm going to say this name wrong. Ashbach has a question.
You got it correct.
Oh, yay!
So 2 questions actually for kindergarten. Will there be any snack times other than lunch as the school is till 4 almost? And the second question would be, what do you expect from the parents of kindergartens on a daily basis? Like, will there be given any assignments, and what's the expectation from parents?
Can I answer this one?
Well, please do, since you're the kindergarten teacher.
We are actually hosting a kindergarten parent meeting on Wednesday, and your child's teacher should have sent you a link to that. And at that meeting on Wednesday, we will go over all of those things, what a typical kindergarten day looks like, what kind of assignments we'll be sending home or doing in the classroom, and what the expectations are for students by the end of the year. So come Wednesday, and if you didn't get that email with a Zoom link, you can email your child's teacher. And if you don't know who that is, you can contact Mrs. Berry.
Great, thank you. And regarding the snack times?
Yes, we will all have a snack time. And depending on what time our lunch is, it'll either be in the morning or the afternoon. We're still working out our schedules, but yes, there will be a snack time. And most likely it will be outdoors because we're trying to minimize the eating in the classroom.
Excuse me?
Yes.
What time does 4th graders go to school?
Chinming, school starts at 9:20. You can get
what day?
Oh, what day? Okay. So it's the first day of school, September 8th.
Okay.
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 All right. Other questions?
Yeah, okay, hold on. Okay, so if someone's having issues with their Chromebook, how do they exchange it to get a new one?
And I just put that in there. We don't have the exact dates that all the Chromebook switches are going on. They always give us a phone number so you can take it directly to the district and do it. They have not told us yet what days, what grades could switch. We're starting with 1st and 5th and then kindergarten. So if you're having an issue, just please call me. I'll put the office phone number in the chat and give me a call tomorrow and I can give you that number and you can maybe get it done before school starts.
A couple of people are asking about like 1st graders who didn't come to school at all last year in person. And other people are asking will there be a chance for kids to meet their teachers before the first day of school? Will there be something virtual or is it just show up on the first day?
Yeah. So if you would like, we've given a few tours to people who wanted to see that are in 1st grade and didn't get to come last year. We're open to giving school tours. We have to do those all outside. So if you're interested in that, just give our office a call and we'd be happy to set something up to show you around our campus. Regarding, what was the other one, Sarah?
1st graders who hadn't been to school at all.
Yeah, so there's tours. I thought there was another question with that.
It's because we're not doing like a meet and greet. Is there any other, will there be a virtual option or is it just show up on the first day?
It's show up on the first day. And unfortunately we aren't able to have parents come into the building. And so your students will show up on the first day and we will be out in force, helping them know where to go and helping them meet their teachers.
And Marissa has a question.
Yes, Marisa.
Yes, what about classes like PE, art, music, library?
Yep. Yes, all of those things will be in place just like they were before. So students will be going to gym and music and library and they will be distanced in those rooms just like they are in their classroom. In music, when they're singing, they have to either be outside or they have to wear special masks. And so we have ordered thousands of masks to give to students that are 3-ply that they will have to wear if they're singing indoors. And then also PE has their safety protocols in place as well. I am still learning what those are, so I can't speak quite to it, but they will be going actually to those classes. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sí. Gracias. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Ashfaq has another question.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. How do you measure the academic progress for kindergartens?
Well, we work with them a lot, one-on-one and in small groups. And we are constantly, all teachers of all grade levels are, working with kids. If we're working with kids on a daily basis, we have a really good idea of where they are and what progress that they've made. And then we're able to set goals for them so that they continue learning throughout the year.
Will there be a chart or some guidelines posted or shared with parents to understand how they're doing and where they need to catch up and stuff like that?
Yep, we will share that information with you at conferences in October. And then we have conferences again in the spring. And then we get, we're happy to give a progress report any other time during the year that you'd like as well. You just have to ask and we're happy to let you know. Mrs. Berry, if somebody returned their Chromebook to their old school, how do they go about getting a new one?
I am sure that we will just sign out a new computer to you. They will have all the records of everyone that returned Chromebooks. So we will have a 1st and 5th grade first, and then we probably will have new students also on one of those days. So just watch your emails for that information, and we will hopefully know that by Thursday or something.
Norma, there's a question about maximum occupancy in the classroom.
Yeah. So there's no, right now, there's no fixed number for maximum occupancy. Instead, there's guidelines that we're supposed to follow. So we followed the Snohomish Department of Health's guidelines, as well as the OSPI, which is the Office of Superintendent of Instruction for Washington State's guidelines. And they are asking that we keep students 3 feet apart to the best of our ability in the classrooms. And so we're putting in place those practices. And that's the same for the lunchroom. We're given the guidance of trying to do 6 feet. That, to be honest with you, we're not doing it quite 6 feet, but we are staggering them so that they're not facing each other. But the guidance is that they want all students to be at school, and we have to get them into the school. And so we're kind of balancing that with the social distancing.
Somebody's wondering about, oh, go ahead, Jackie.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Gina also had another question.
Yep.
So my 2nd grader didn't do in-person learning last year. And she's new to your guys' schools, but she's also in the IS program. How does she go about like getting to know her teacher beforehand so that she's comfortable with her teachers?
Yeah, I think, Gina, we have a meeting tomorrow that maybe we could just bring that up and let's talk about that and figure out a plan that we're all on board with, because that teacher will be there, I think, at the meeting too.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Even gen ed teachers would be there?
Yep, and if he's not, then we'll make a plan so that we can make sure that it happens for her so that she's comfortable.
Okay.
Yep, that's super important. Thank you for asking.
And then when is a good time to like contact you personally, or what's the best number to contact you directly?
Yeah, so let's just go through Mrs. Berry, and she will forward all the calls, and I really try to get back to people as soon as I can. Okay.
There's just a question about wondering how to, meet people in the community. And I think, so I'm thinking, are there any PTA events or anything that we may be able to do outside and distance where people could get to know each other and the community?
I actually mentioned this to the PTA people after they did the kindergarten jumpstart at the afternoon. And they're hoping to do some sort of ice cream something. It'll probably have to be ice cream bars or ice cream sandwiches outside. It would have to be outside, but it would be sent out to families and they could meet in the evening. And that's what they're working on right now.
I just need to say that we're very limited right now in the events that we can have with people in person. And so we just have to make sure that we're following the guidelines that are given to us so everybody's safe. Other questions? It looks like it's slowing down a bit. What I want you to know is that we really care about your kids. And their safety and their well-being emotionally is top priority for us. And it's top priority for me as a principal. And so everything that we're doing, we want to make sure that our kids are safe. And we have a pretty good track record. Last year went really well. We didn't have major outbreaks. And I know that we're facing a whole different beast with the Delta variant. I want to acknowledge that. But I also want you to know we're working very hard to make sure that we're doing the best practices that we can to help your kids. So please reach out and ask questions. We are here for you and we're happy to help. We're in partnership. And so with that, I'm going to stick around if there's any lingering questions, but thank you so much. And I'm wishing you all a great rest of your evening.
Gracias. We'll see you soon.
See you later, Marisa.
Adios.
Adios.
Thanks. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Miss
Bye.
Lee.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have a link to the website for applying for possible open positions? Is it just on the district website?
If you go to the website and you look under employment, it has all the available jobs. Okay, and Gina, you had another question?
Yeah, so if there is an outbreak that happens at the school, how are parents informed about it?
We would follow the guidance for the Snohomish Department of Health gives us the guidance that we do, and that it would be a mass communication according to how they want us to do that. And so you would either get an email or a phone call, depending on the severity of it all.
Okay, and then second question is, if our kiddo needs to wear like 2 forms of protection because of their health,
yes,
being a mask and a shield,
yes,
but the shield only works with a baseball hat, is that going to be okay? Or will you guys provide a shield that will work with the kiddo?
Yeah, I think we could possibly provide it. I think what we would have to do is work with the nurse. And that's another question to bring up when we meet. Let's talk about it so that we're doing exactly what she needs.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. I think with that, I think we're gonna close things down unless there's any other last minute questions. I know our interpreters have to go. Thank you so much, Susanna. Iman, I'm sorry about.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there.
Great emotional support, Iman.
I'm sorry.